stroke is looking good.
Never looked prettier than when Caitlin Clark has done it. 32-17, just 0.5 on the shots. That's the play you had to get. And Johnson there with a great defensive play, the block by the rookie. So we've got a nice block by Raven Johnson, and now a good block by Flau'jae Johnson, who wasn't here yesterday because she was graduating from LSU. We'll have more on that later. Some great photos for you. Final 30 seconds of this first quarter. And Cook is doing well, getting downhill. This is what Sonia Raman told us about yesterday. Let's get downhill. Let's force this Fever team to play some defense.
And that was something that Stephanie White was concerned about coming into this game, was their paint attack, because they are quick in their backcourt. Some of their lineups, including Zaya Cook, Natisha Heidemann, they can get a piece of the paint fairly easily.
So that's the second personal on Caitlin Clark as Cook rolls in the first. 8 points, 3 assists for Clark so far, 6 points for Kelsey Mitchell. And Cook hits them both. Leading the way off the bench for Seattle. 8 now for Zaya Cook. About a 10-second difference between shot and game here. Oh, Johnson knocks it away from Clark. So fun seeing this rivalry renewed here at the professional level. The sidestep triple from Clark, just a little bit off. Rebound Horson, plenty of time. Scoops it over to Heidemann. Final 5 seconds of the first. T going to work on the baseline, shorts, and knocked away by Clark. And that will do it. Well, all Fever as we expected in our first quarter. You're watching WNBA Game Time presented by Dick's Sporting Goods.
Flau'jae, some early turnovers. How do you clean that up?
Take care of the ball. And we got to take care of the ball. They pressure him, but it's not crazy pressure, so we got to take care of him.
What defensive adjustments do you want to see?
More pressure. Everybody got pressure up. Everybody got tight. Everybody communicate. That's what we got to do a little bit better. And we got to make some shots.
Flau'jae, thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
There you have it, Kate.
And we mentioned it already, LaChina. This was yesterday, getting her diploma at LSU.
Yeah, what a beautiful scene,
Yeah.
a journey of a young woman that we have all watched blossom in her career down in Baton Rouge. And that's a special day for not only her, but her family.
And there's the LSU jersey in the house as Johnson, a little too handsy there, trying to slow down Caitlin Clark. And yeah, that was when we were talking with her head coach, Sonia Raman, yesterday. She pointed that out. Yes, it is a woman achieving her goal of getting a college degree, but it is a family effort to get your kiddo to that point.
It is. And I wasn't saying that the gentleman wearing the LSU jersey was a part of her family. That just happened to pop up at the same time. But yeah, it really is. I mean, and for Sonia Raman to really make that a priority and say, we want her to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, she missed practice yesterday, but she said that Flau'jae has pro habits. And when you have pro habits, then you can get yourself ready for a game like this.
And with more on Flau'jae, let's go over to Caroline.
Well, Flau'jae told me pregame that it was so important to her to walk across that stage because she wanted to set an example for her little brothers. Flau'jae got back here to Indy last night between 10 and 11 p.m. and said the whole experience yesterday was so special, was so appreciative that her team made it able for her to do that. At the end of practice yesterday, she also got to FaceTime them, a moment that she really enjoyed, calling for graduation in her cap and gown. She told me she wants to get her master's now, too, inspired by Shaq, who she saw at LSU's graduation. So this might not be the last time we see her in a cap and gown, Kate.
I mean, that's what it's all about. And on cue, getting high up for that rebound, drawing the foul. And yeah, that was fun. We were all at practice yesterday. And we saw a phone out as the Storm were doing their half-court shots, like a lot of teams do at the end of practice. And then we found out that it was Flau'jae on the other line.
Lots of smiles, but I agree with Flau'jae that Seattle has to stop turning the ball over. Flau'jae Johnson hasn't even taken a shot yet, and a lot of possessions going back to Indiana early in this game.
Well, there's the shot. Leaves it a little bit short. Cook doing a little bit of everything for Seattle so far. Couldn't get the putback to go. Johnson, though, with a third opportunity. And there it is, Flau'jae's first points tonight.
And that is where she is special. Her finishing package, I mean, she can go full speed to the rim and then find the finesse to get the finish.
And you just always love it also when an athlete knows that we're talking about them. And they just become the star of the show. Here's Johnson again. Flau'jae. Maybe a little bit greedy on that one. You saw Heidemann over there asking for it on the wing, but like the confidence and aggressiveness from the rookie.
I love the aggressiveness. And again, here, just the step through move, finish at the rim. When she gets going off of the drive, she's got another level of speed.
Yeah.
And you mentioned it, the athleticism at the rim, gets a good finish. And maybe that bucket gets her going.
At 7 points in the loss at Toronto on Wednesday. This is the finale of a 3-game road trip for Seattle. This is Ty Harris, the Indiana native, back home now, playing professional ball for the team she grew up cheering for. Hull lost it. Cook has 8 so far. Dolson hands it off to Johnson. Flau'jae, the pull-up, and the jumper is good.
Beautiful mid-range pull-up.
Finds Allen trying to nutmeg Dolson there. Hall there to help, and she'll head the line shoot 2.
And that's another aspect of Hull's game that I can appreciate is her slashing ability. She's always going to try to get open when the ball gets stagnant.
Again, back into the starting lineup tonight for the first time this season. Lexi Hull had been on a little bit of a minutes restriction because of a hamstring injury in the preseason. But such a key piece of last year's success, so close to making it all the way to the WNBA finals despite all the injuries that they suffered on the way there. Now let's take a look at the upcoming WNBA national TV schedule. It's going to be a fun week, as we mentioned, tomorrow right here on Peacock and NBCSN. Wings hosting the Mystics, then Wednesday on USA. The Fever going to be hosting the new Portland Fire, Dallas at Chicago, and then Thursday on Prime. Golden State visiting Stewie in New York. Kelsey Plum and the Sparks at the Phoenix Mercury. It has been such a great first week here in the WNBA. A lot more parity than I think even some folks have been following the league forever expected. Season 30 of this phenomenal league. And for more on those games, please go to WNBA.com or visit the WNBA app.
And the WNBA is on pace to set a record for number of 100-point games to start a season. There's been a lot of scoring, lots of buckets.
Well, that's what they wanted to shore up the officiating a little bit. And yeah, we're up almost 8 points a game so far this year with a little more freedom of movement. Trying to officiate a little bit tighter this year. Harris blocked by Horston. But a whistle. Great work by 2-3 and White, but it's not going to matter. Foul was on her teammate, Zaya Cook. And again, mentioned it already, was a star at Heritage High School, about a half hour from us here at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, was a finalist for Miss Indiana basketball back in 2016, then a star at South Carolina, and was so excited to get the opportunity to come back and put on the Fever colors.
And has really done a nice job as she has worked her way back from injury, getting into a groove, has lots of familiarity with Steph White from her Connecticut days. It's a good fit.
It's a very good fit. She was with Dallas last season, 2024, with White in Connecticut. Johnson, the horse, who is going to be fouled by Hull. And a line change of sorts here for the Fever.
Yeah, looks like Lexi Hull tried to shoot the gap here, a little too aggressive, got Horston right on the arm.
Might have been off the inbounds and makes it in.
Seattle had missed some chippies around the rim, and I mentioned Heideman's driving ability. She's got to make those easy ones.
Mitchell can't make that one. Nice weak side rebound by Holmes. Oh, what a give and go. Heideman up and in, and here comes Seattle.
And off the fingertips of Timpson. She almost had a block.
Now, Indiana started 11 for their first 16. They were shooting lights out. Now 1 for their last 8. Steph White said needed Billings to go to work underneath. And Monique does just that.
I love her fit with the Indiana Fever. Mo Billings is such a great screener, a good teammate, tenacious defender, can rebound it. Oh. But wait a minute, no one home on the backside, and Stephanie White's going to call a timeout immediately.
Well, you mentioned it, no one home, and as a result, Mackenzie Holmes takes advantage. And just like that, Seattle within 11.
Give and go here from Horston to Heideman, gets one right at the rim, over the fingertips of the defense. And then, wait a minute, where's the transition defense? Mackenzie Holmes gets an easy one.
WNBA Game Time is brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. A couple of basketball lifers there, Rick Carlisle, Hebe Davis, and of course, Tyrese Halliburton. Slowly but surely coming back from that Achilles tear. The Pacers can't wait to have him back next season, and so awesome to see those guys in the building supporting their fever. See how Indiana comes out of the timeout. Seattle had found something the last couple of trips, so Steph White wanting to regroup. Kelsey Mitchell, good looking shot, just rattles out.
Seattle started taking better care of the basketball since Caroline's interview with Flau'jae Johnson. That's helped for sure.
Cunningham with a block in the celebration. Almost looks like she surprised herself.
Not necessarily known for her shot blocking. Looked like she was a little bit surprised. Even Holmes thought she had one over the top.
So great.
It's the celebration that really
it is.
made that fun.
One of the many great personalities here in the W. Sophie Cunningham. And it looks like we're going to have a free throw and then possession. So Kelsey Mitchell with the loose ball away from the play foul before the ball was inbounded. And Flau'jae hits it. So in her first 11 minutes tonight, the China, she's got 7 points already. She had 7 points total at Toronto on Wednesday.
They've all come in this last minute stretch as Seattle has made a push. And you see that Sonia Raman is making a conscious effort to run plays through Flau'jae, get the ball in her hands and let her make plays.
Mitchell trying to slow her down. The skip pass to Melvin. Timpson, those long arms you mentioned earlier. Such a great defender. Scoops to Clark. And Clark lays it up and in.
Oh boy, I thought that was going to be defended at the rim. I don't know how Caitlin Clark got that one open over the defense.
Clark, the first player in double figures tonight. She's got 12 now.
And Sue Bird made mention in studio of the speed, actually it was Cheryl, of the speed that Caitlin Clark is playing with. And we saw it in that push to the rim. But going back here, Mackenzie Holmes defended by Timpson. On the run here, pitches it back to Caitlin Clark and goes full speed right to the rack. Doesn't let the defense distract her.
It's like a rugby pitch there. Love that play. Melvin, a lot of contacts. And Jade Melvin will head to the line for Seattle.
Been rather quiet from Jade Melvin. Only 2 points so far. Team's second leading scorer in the starting lineup tonight. That can sometimes shake you up a little bit, is the difference from coming off the bench and being able to watch and then coming into the starting lineup.
And they just showed the replay, as I'm sure you can all imagine. That's why the boos are raining down here in Indianapolis. Disagree that there was contact.
And Stephanie Dolphin is saying, give her the ball for the free throw. Unless they're going to actually...
Okay, looks like they're changing who the foul is on. So it has been given to Michaela Timpson. It was initially ruled to be on the rookie Raven Johnson. As Melvin hits the first. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see anything on Raven Johnson. From that angle, I didn't see the Timpson contact either, but I'm assuming that on that front side.
Yeah, there was a little follow through, and that'll be something for Steph White and the Fever to keep an eye on. So that's Timpson's third personal. Again, no Aaliyah Boston tonight. First game that Boston has missed in her professional or collegiate career, out with that lower leg injury. Clark can't get the fadeaway to go. No Dama Longa for Seattle. Ezzie McVigor also still recovering from an injury. Our fam, the 3rd overall pick, hoping to have her shortly after she won a championship early this morning back in Spain. We'll have more on that later tonight. Kelsey Mitchell, the high arcing 3, no, but look at Raven Johnson underneath. Had a good rebound, but then Van Sluten steals it away. And Van Sluten going coast to coast for Seattle.
That was impressive.
And a whistle. Okay, they're going to call it delay of game on Seattle at the very end of that one. But what a push by Sonia Raman's team here.
Yeah, I mean, getting it out here, getting a steal, getting herself up the court, getting an easy bucket. And the Fever's taking a couple of quick shots. Something that Stephanie White said she wanted was them to move the ball around a little bit. So we may see more of that.
2-on-1 here for the Storm. Ooh, Melbourne got a little ahead of herself. Brad wants to travel, not going to get it. Johnson lost it. The weird hop there. Now here comes the Fever. Mitchell pulls, knock back iron. Johnson is everywhere, knocking that one to her teammate Lexi Brown.
Yeah, well, so much more activity by Seattle right now. They've been energized.
Johnson, the scoop, can't get it to go. Cunningham, the rebounds, and then she's fouled. But yeah, you mentioned it, the energy. Just night and day from the first quarter to this second frame.
And it felt like it was ignited by Zia Cook, who came off of the bench and just really used her speed, got some paint touches, played with a fearless attack. And then Flau'jae Johnson stepped in, and they stopped turning the ball over as much. So it's been a team effort, but they've got a little bit more stability now.
They knew it was going to be a team effort all season, LaChina. 10 newcomers, just 4 returners for this Storm team that won titles in 2018 and 2020. New coach, a new look. Heidemann, one of the new additions this offseason.
Right here, you see a hold by Natisha Heidemann on Caitlin Clark, going back to the emphasis on freedom of movement. She has to be able to move without the defense disrupting her balance, and they have to give her the freedom to move off the ball.
And that's what Heidemann is talking over with our crew chief, Isaac Barnett, Charles Watson, Blanca Burns, our officiating crew tonight.
And on that, it was her balance that was disrupted, but you also cannot disrupt their speed, quickness, or rhythm.
Speed, quickness, balance,
and balance. That's right. Freedom of movement.
14 so far tonight for Clark. Van Sluten to a cutting Brown. Wilson. Wide left on the 3. Just under 3.5 to go in our first half. Fever looking for their first home win of the year. Only victory came last week out in Los Angeles. They put up over 100 points in both of their home games, but just haven't been able to get them. And a foul whistle on the Storm. Second on Dolson.
Nice handoff action there by Maisha Hines-Allen, and beautiful pass by Kelsey Mitchell right around Steph Dolson, who tries to recover in time, but instead gets the foul.
And that is the tale of our 2 quarters so far. All Fever in the first. Storm reset at the quarter break, and fighting their way back into this one.
Yeah, this unit for Indiana has gotten them back into the game a little bit. We felt the push from Seattle. Then Steph White made substitution. She's still kind of working with the substitution. There's some limited minutes here and there. So it's a process of figuring out who's playing well together with the new pieces. And so this group has gotten back in.
And without that player, again, Leah Boston left in the 3rd quarter of Friday's overtime loss to the Mystics with that lower leg injury that's been bothering her since the end of the Unrivaled season. She missed the FIBA World Cup qualifiers in March down in Puerto Rico as a result, missed the preseason. Melbourne with a Steph plays it up and in. And when we were talking with Steph White before this game, said, again, everything at this point in the season, this is the 4th game of a 44-game season. It is an abundance of caution. We want to be playing at the end as Clark hits the bucket and draws the foul. Well, when you need a bucket, who do you go to? You go to CC. She's got 16 and a chance to tack on one more.
Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa.
Caitlin Clark brought unprecedented attention to women's college basketball, and to all of those fans that have followed her here to the WNBA, welcome.
She is so good this early in her career.
Looks like she's in pain. Grabs the inside of that right leg.
Yeah, and that was it. It was a really difficult sophomore campaign for Caitlin Clark after that Rookie of the Year 2024 season.
Yeah, and I was actually there. I called the game against Connecticut in Boston.
Yeah.
That was the last game she played before they shut her down. But I was also there in Puerto Rico when she took the floor again in competition for the FIBA World Qualifiers. And for a player like Caitlin Clark, the level of frustration I thought she had last year, just trying to come back, multiple injuries. I mean, you could see how much pain she was in. And so to see her back out here, excited to play, feeling healthy. She did say she's still getting over the mental hurdles. She's had some tweaks with her back, but she's pushing through it and looking more and more like Caitlin Clark every game.
She's got 17 points now in her first 12 minutes tonight with China Robinson, Caroline Pineda, Kate Scott with you tonight. Appreciate you all tuning in to the WNBA on Peacock and NBC. So great to finally have the W back on Peacock. Mitchell tied him in with a block. But they're going to say last touched by the Storm. So Fever basketball underneath. And you heard from Sue Bird. We've got Hall of Famer Sue Bird and Cheryl Miller, Carolyn Mano in studio for us. Said when it comes to Caitlin Clark, we'll get back to that momentarily. The steal by the Storm. Horston into the starting lineup. The injury to Dom Malonga, and Horston nicely done on the turnaround.
Good bucket by Horston and off of the defense by Seattle.
What Bird was saying pregame was she thinks the injuries last year to Clark are going to turn out to be a blessing in disguise, as Clark can't finish that leg. Hines Allen, the offensive rebound. And just a little bit too high on the pass to Clark, but sometimes learning how to take care of your body early in your professional career for any athlete can be something that really pays off.
And there was a lot on Caitlin Clark's shoulders coming straight from college into the WNBA. That's always a tough transition for any player. You really don't get a break. And so that was, again, an opportunity for her to sit back. And I like what Sue said about learning more about your body as a pro.
Let's make sure Jane Melvin's okay. Hard drive to the cup, collided with Caitlin Clark. Let's take a look.
Let's see, Jade Melvin taking it in. Yeah, it looked like knee-to-knee contact there, and she is flexing on that knee right now. Bone to bone I've had that happen before. That is not at all feeling.
Second personal on Clark. 49-38. Storm have done a great job staying in this one so far. Coming up on American Express at the half. Yeah, there's our Hall of Famers. Sue working on the handle. And in case you missed it earlier, what a thriller we had in our opener today. Chelsea Gray with ice in her veins down in Atlanta. Yeah, a lot to discuss at American Express at the half.
Chelsea Gray is just so clutch. That's all I can say. She did it on offense and defense.
Getting the steal because the Dream had a chance.
They did.
For a game winner of their own after Chelsea Gray hit that shot with under 5 seconds to go. And Gray said, no, this is our game. Clark, shot clock winding down, finding Hull on the cuts, and Lexi Hull floats it up and in.
That's the chemistry that Hull brings to this lineup on the floor with Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. Talked about her slashing. She reads very well off ball.
6 points and counting now for Hull, who was inserted into the starting lineup for her defense. Heidemann shorts, hold the rebounds. Clark to Hines, Allen for the deuce.
That was a bullet pass from almost half court from Caitlin Clark.
And the Fever wanting to kick their way through this halftime finish line. 17-5 for Clark in this first half. Melbourne sneaks it inside of Dolson. Nice ball movement here by the Storm. And Dolson dump it in.
Good decision on forcing on the drive and finds Steph Dolson late. I mean, there's been a response from Seattle. They're not allowing Indiana to run away with a lead.
Seattle actually outscoring the Fever 23-21 in this second quarter. After the Fever took the first 32-19. Shot clock at 4. At 3, Clark nicely done to Mitchell.
Threading the needle on that pass.
Final few seconds of this first half. Heidemann gets 2 back for the Storm. So the Storm, as they did all second quarter, fighting through the tape. Caitlin Clark, though, doing what she does, getting her teammates involved. 6 first half assists for Clark, and there's 2 of them in the final minutes here to go along with her 17 first half points. And our Caroline Pineda has the head coach of the Fever, Steph White.
Coach, defense has been your focus. How would you evaluate it in the first half?
I thought at times it was really good and at times it wasn't so good.
How do you fix that?
It's got to be a concerted effort. You know, it has to matter every possession.
Playing without Aaliyah Boston, how has your team adjusted?
I think they've adjusted well. You know, Maisha's a vet in this league. She understands that this is a moment for her to step in, and she's done a great job. Mo's given us some really good activity, so I think we're adjusting well.
All right, thank you. Kate?
All right, Caroline. Well, the Storm made nice adjustments in that second quarter. And we got a ball game here at Gamebridge Fieldhouse in Indy. 17 for Clark. American Express at the half. Coming your way on the other side.
Welcome to American Express at the Half.
The Fever came out firing tonight, scoring a season-high 32 first-quarter points in Friday night's overtime loss to Washington. They said they needed to do better, and they have responded so far on both ends of the floor. Tonight, as we welcome you back into our studio, hi, everybody. Kara Lamano alongside the Hall of Famers, the gold medalists, once again, Cheryl Miller and Sue Bird. Seattle didn't take care of the basketball early either, though, and that really helped Indiana's efforts.
Well, that wasn't their biggest problem. No Malonga, nobody in there to really control the paint defensively for them. And certainly Indiana took full advantage of that.
What did you see in the first half, Sue, that really resonated with you?
I think Indiana got off to a great start, but shout out to the Storm. I mean, listen, not playing great, cut it to single digits at one point, down 11 at half, but swinging it back to Indiana. I mean, this is the type of response you want to see. If anything, though, you might be a little disappointed you're not up more.
Caitlin Clark was critical after Friday night that they needed to do better defensively, but she has been very efficient like we normally are accustomed to seeing her on the offensive end, and she looks good again tonight.
Yeah, she's being super aggressive. This is the thing with Indiana. They want to play offense. And I can say this as someone who also wanted to play offense. And so you almost have to trick a team like this to get them to buy in defensively, because that's going to fuel your transition. Caitlin said she thinks she's the best player in transition offensively. What do? Work harder on defense to get that going.
Well, Cheryl, you mentioned the absence of Dom Malonga. Let's look at our Game You Can Trust presented by American Express and take a closer look at that, because Indiana has been doing work inside the paint.
And you can trust that they took advantage of no size in the middle. And when you see Holt turning around and not even worrying about that, and then you have Hines Allen just playing bully ball down low. I mean, it was all arrows pointing to the rim, no resistance in the middle, Sue.
This is when you start to see the impact of Dom Malonga in that it's not just, blocking a shot. It's just the awareness, right? You had these players, the Indiana Fever players, Monique Billings on that last highlight, where you just see them come down the paint. They're not thinking about anything but scoring. When Dom's in the game, that changes.
The Fever outscoring them 18-4 in the paint in the first quarter, but then you play devil's advocate a little bit like you brought up, Cheryl. The Fever are without Aaliyah Boston, oh, by the way, who takes up the entire paint, and they haven't really been able to find that consistency.
And it could have been far worse. It really could have been far worse. But you know what? The one thing that I will say about Indiana, I am seeing glimpses of them trying to pull together a better defensive effort. And I will give the Storm a lot of credit, too, is they didn't give up. First quarter was ugly. Second quarter was much better. I think they shot something like in the first quarter, 38%. In the second quarter was 60. They found a rhythm before the end of the half.
Just very quickly, Sue, what's one thing that Seattle needs to do in the second half of this game?
I mean, maybe follow Flau'jae's advice. She had that great interview. Take care of the ball, not get pressured, or take care of it, against that pressure, and then also make some shots.
She's the best. She's the best. All right, stay with us later tonight. Our very own Sue Bird visited the newest Dallas resident, #1 overall pick, AZ Fun. The pair went to step in. You don't want to miss it. That's our post-game coverage on Peacock. So stay with us for that. More after this.
That was the hit.
At the Half is brought to you by the powerful backing of American Express.
Well, in case you weren't with us this afternoon, it was a good time. We kicked off our WNBA on NBC coverage earlier with a thriller between the defending champs Las Vegas Aces and the Atlanta Dream, and the Aces narrowly escaping this game with a win. Atlanta trailed by as many as 19 points in this game, you guys. They fought back with this gritty comeback.
Hey, this is one of the best games I've
fun.
seen all season long, and I was just so happy for the Dream the way they came back and fought the entire game.
You literally blinked, and all of a sudden, it was a game. You look up, you see them getting it done on defense. You see them turning that into offense. And I just want to take a look at this Jordan Canada layup. I have seen Jordan work on this. This is such a tough shot. And really the lesson here is I've seen her work on it. I've seen her miss a ton. But now, in a very important moment, she's able to finish this with the left.
I know.
With the left.
Ridiculous.
I mean, the degree of difficulty is insane.
I loved what you said during the coverage, too, that you know how good she is because you played against her. And what she was able to do today was phenomenal. We saw Tahina Pau have a phenomenal game. I mean, all these players, some that you might not expect, stepping up in this big moment. But the Aces managing to get it done. And Chelsea Gray was the hero, no doubt about it.
I was about to say, I also know how hard it is to play against Chelsea.
And Jordan Canada was like D'ing her up. Like, seriously, that D was solid, but I'm not going to say great defense, better offense, because it's just simply Chelsea Gray.
Well, with that win, the Aces moved to 4-1. They had 30 wins in last season's championship campaign. DraftKings Sportsbook has their win total for this season at 30.5 games. Check out Dallas. We're going to have their game against the Mystics tomorrow. Everybody is getting their popcorn out for that one. The Wings had just over 19 wins over the last 2 seasons. Do you think they have the firepower to win 25 games, Sue, quickly?
Absolutely. I'm gonna say
that was
yes.
really quick. Yeah,
you said quickly.
You said that.
You did say quickly, Carolyn.
I said it. You're doing exactly what I told you to do. What about you? You think they do as well? Quickly.
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
I really do.
Yeah,
I do.
I really
no,
do.
they look good.
They have the potential
AZ,
for
yeah,
sure.
they really do. I know you spent some time with AZ. We're going to get to that in the post game. Cannot wait. In the meantime, look at what we have coming up on Monday. It is absolutely loaded. NBA Showtime at 7:30. We got the Spurs and the Thunder. Maria Taylor will be with you for that. And then, of course, we got the game that we just mentioned in the W. We cannot wait. Sophie Cunningham off the bench, 7 points. And this block, a defensive catalyst. And this block, a defensive catalyst when the Fever were calling for it. Second half up next. Stay with us right here.
On DraftKings Sportsbook, new DraftKings customers can bet $5 and get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the app and use promo code GLASS when you sign up.
All right, welcome back to Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Just about 30 seconds away from the start of our third quarter between the Fever and the Storm. As we welcome you courtside, LaChina Robinson and Kate Scott with you. And LaChina, lo and behold, the sun came up today and the Fever scored a lot of points in the first half. What did you think of their defensive effort in those first two quarters?
I saw a lot of improvement from Indiana on the defensive end, and I thought inserting Lexi Hall into the starting lineup had a lot to do with that. With her level of activity and energy, she really sets the tone. Indiana came into this game last in field goal percentage defense, allowing opponents to shoot 55% from the field. They held Seattle to 44%. So it's those incremental changes,
little things,
chipping away,
little things,
and really about the mentality of this team and taking care of defense, which gets them out and running in transition.
And as you heard our halftime crew mention, most points they have scored in any first quarter so far this season and in any half. So what are your expectations for first the Fever in the second half and then the Storm?
Well, I definitely think that the Fever is going to have to execute more in the half court. Seattle was able to clean up some of their turnovers, so I don't see as many transition opportunities for them. But I'm curious to see if Sonia Raman continues to go to a lot of that dribble penetration off of the bounce in the middle of the floor. If so, Indiana definitely needs to be concerned about that and be ready to address that.
Well, the Fever went to Caitlin Clark to start out this third quarter, short on that three. Speaking of Sonia Raman and the Seattle Storm, Carolina Pineda caught up with Sonia coming out of the locker room. Caroline?
I did. She told me she felt like Seattle settled in from the first quarter to the second. She said we got good looks early in the first quarter. They weren't falling. But in the second quarter, she said they're attacking on offense and the activity on defense improved. There's so much that Dawn Malonga brings to the table. She told me it's been such a team effort to make up for not having her on the floor.
Yeah, no doubt.
To make up for not having her on the floor.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The foul on Horston there into the starting lineup with no Malonga. And Kelsey Mitchell behind the defense lays it up and in.
Now, Kelsey Mitchell is on my WNBA all backdoor team. She's going to backdoor you at least once or twice a game. You already know it.
Heidemann, the high arcing three, too strong. Horston and Billings battling for it. Let's see. It's going to remain Seattle basketball. But yeah, she is so good. Is Kelsey Mitchell at just waiting, and then that change of pace.
And she does a lot of football training in the off season where she works on cutting and like really quick movements out of the blocks, if you will. I mean, that's track.
Yeah.
Forget my lack of football terminology, but just the change of speed and change of direction. Like she does a lot of football type training that get her ready for basketball season.
The Fever, the last to touch it again. So Storm basketball. There's Kelsey Mitchell, 9th year now, has spent her entire career here in Indy. So if anyone deserves the way the Fever are playing now, the success of the Fever these last few seasons, it is number 0 in Navy, Kelsey Mitchell. Heidemann back to Johnson, sneaks it over to Horston. Likes that kind of one-footed fadeaway shot. Left that one short though. 17 points, 6 assists for Caitlin Clark in the first two quarters. A handoff from Hines Allen, back to her. The ball movement once again, impressive for Indy. Cole kind of fading to her right as she took off from the elbow. Can't get that one to go. Heidemann leading the way for Seattle with 11. Johnson right behind her with 7. Johnson can't get the long middle-range shot to go. Melbourne kind of got away with a foul there. It was a little bit late going for that rebound. Ball still down in the backcourt for Indiana. And Allen again. Yeah,
it did look like a loose ball foul on Jade Melbourne for sure. And you're just glad that Lexi Hull's okay. She's going to go take a seat right now, but she was able to get up and head to the other end of the floor.
As Mitchell finishes once again. So now a dozen for Kelsey Mitchell. 29 points and counting for the Fever backcourt. One of the best so far this season in the WNBA. Both of those players averaging 25 points per game through the first 3 of this season. Heidemann, nicely done by T. Heidemann. Mitchell, again, showing off that speed you were talking about, running the floor. Nice arc on that shot. Billings might have been able to come down with that, put it back up. Another offensive rebound to Hines Allen. Clark, sidestep, mid-range, doesn't go. The rookie Flau'jae Johnson. Star at LSU, went against Clark at Iowa. Bounces it to Horston. Off back iron, down to Clark.
Flau'jae likes to drive baseline. Horston just off with that shot. Horston has actually tweaked her shot, while she was out due to an injury last season.
Heidemann knocked that one over to Melvin. Johnson looking for that baseline drive, like you were just saying. Foul before she can do so. Number two, Maisha Hines Allen. And there's the rook. Kayla Timpson back in. Mo Billings will head to the bench for Indiana. Just a joy, a light. That's what one of her vets, Stephanie Dolson, said about her new teammate, Flau'jae Johnson. Here's Dolson now as a gold medalist in Tokyo on that 3-on-3 U.S. team. As Johnson, was she fouled before the shot clock expired? I think she might have been. Yeah, saved by the foul. A rare mistake there by Kelsey Mitchell.
Kelsey Mitchell was doing everything she could to fight through the screening action.
I'm gonna look this one over.
To stay with Flau'jae off the bounce.
Hard to tell from that angle because the whole backboard doesn't illuminate here in Indy, just the top row of it. Yeah, hard to tell.
Yeah.
It's the clock, bottom left corner.
It looked like the foul occurred before.
Yeah, I think so too. But our officials will look this over. Isaac Barnett, Charles Watson over there at the table. Quiet start to this third quarter so far. Indy just 4 points. Storm with just one. One bucket, that is. 2 points for Seattle. Yeah, there's the contact right there, LaChina, and it does look like there's about 0.9 left on the clock.
Yeah. We expect Flau'jae Johnson to get some free throws here.
Well, her aggressiveness was what got Seattle back into this game in the second quarter. So why not get right back to it here in the third?
Well, it was right after that.
Get right back to it here in the third.
Well, it was right after that interview with Caroline.
After review, the illegal contact occurs at 6:35 on the game clock prior to the shot clock horn. We'll resume with 2 free throws for Johnson. Thank you.
Well, Isaac is one of our great officials here in the WNBA, but if that doesn't work out, this is the sarcasm font. I think he's got a future in voice acting.
Yeah. Very smooth voice. And shout out to our crew to get that freeze frame right there where we could see the contact before the shot clock expired.
Yeah, always a great crew calling games here in Indy. So thank you to everyone who's with us tonight here on Peacock. That's the third personal on Kelsey Mitchell. Michaela Timpson has 3 as well for the Fever. Flau'jae Johnson now has 8 and counting for Seattle. Well, DraftKings is the #1 sports book for live betting. To get in on the action, download the app and use the promo code GLASS when you sign up. And Johnson was struggling a bit from the field in her first 3 professional games. I feel like she's broken out of that struggle here tonight. 9 points for Johnson. 5 of them coming at the free throw line. Too much contact there by Melvin on Clark.
And this is the perfect game for Flau'jae Johnson to really take over. She's got some space to operate with Dom Malonga out and is playing with a little bounce. And I'm looking forward to what she's got the rest of this game.
Speaking of bounce, Kelsey Mitchell with a step on Flau'jae.
She said, I'm going to show you what I got right now.
Welcome to the league, Rook. 14 in her 20 minutes for Kelsey Mitchell. And Not sure that
we're gonna set the
clock started.
18, 23 minus 6.
Holmes checking back in for Seattle. Here's that inbounds play. They ran this a couple of times in Los Angeles. Works again tonight.
They run a lot of plays to get Kelsey Mitchell going to her left side. And we've already well documented the speed and explosiveness for which she does it. So even though you know where she wants to go, it doesn't mean you can stop her.
One of the fastest in the WNBA, according to opposing coaches, is Kelsey Mitchell. The cross from Heidemann, the kick. Johnson, too strong on the corner three. Well, the Storm are getting their looks. Just haven't been able to finish them in this third quarter. Clark, the driving kick. Timpson is blocked, and blocked again. Back-to-back blocks by the rookie Van Sluten. See if Seattle can pay it off on this end. Johnson from the elbow does just that. A couple of rookies stepping up on the road here for the Storm.
Who says the Storm don't have shot blocking without Dawn Malonga? But she
nobody got in the way of that wide open Kelsey Mitchell three. And frustration from Sonia Raman as a result of Kelsey Mitchell. 5 for her last 6.
Welcome back to Indianapolis. It's time for our game-changing moment brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods, and it is none other than Kelsey Mitchell, who has 17 points in this game. She started out 3 for 11 and has made 5 of her last 6 buckets. You just cannot keep up with her. Her speed is blinding. Her ability to stretch the floor from long range just I mean, there's just really not an answer for her when she wants to lock in defensively, offensively, because of what I call her physical attributes, the speed, the quickness, the reaction time. It's just really unmatched.
She got all 9 of the Fever's third quarter points so far. Seattle with 6 as a team. And Damiris Stuntis into the game and onto the score sheet with that swat. So it will be Seattle basketball still on the baseline. There's the Brazilian. Oldest member of this Fever roster, 33 years young. Known for her defense and a three-point shot. Cook was the offense for Seattle in the first quarter. Quiet since. Tough jumper doesn't go. Clark another rebound. 6th rebound tonight for Caitlin Clark to go along with her 17 points and 8 assists. Could be on triple-double watch tonight for Clark. Yeah, Mitchell was trying to cut there, but had her rhythm and balance disrupted.
There you go.
I'm trying.
Good job.
Foul on Cook. Again, those are some of the words that we're looking for this year as the officials try to reset, take a little of the physicality out of the game, allow more freedom of movement for the offense. Clark Johnson has it taken away by Holmes. Good read by Mackenzie Holmes. Under 5 to go in this third quarter. Lead 14 right now for the Fever. Led by 15 in the first quarter. Seattle cut it to single digits in the second. Kelsey Mitchell punching back in this third quarter. And Cook is fouled. And the Fever bench is beside themselves, as are the fans here in Indianapolis. Cook is fouled. And the Fever bench is beside themselves, as are the fans here in Indianapolis. They have their challenge, haven't used it yet.
Ooh. You know, the tough one about that is that Caitlin was not a legal defender. For you to be a legal defender, you have to have shoulders squared. If contact is made while you're on the side of the ball handler, the officials can't call that a foul.
And no reason to challenge, no points scored off of it either. So third personal on Caitlin Clark. Shot clock at 5. Holmes, the kick, gotta get a shot off. Van Sluten airballs it, will play on. Cunningham looking for Timpson, just a little too high on the pass. So the Fever unable to take advantage of that empty possession. Cunningham with 7 points in her 13 minutes so far off the bench tonight.
Fever picking up full court, denying. The second unit did that quite a bit in the first half, just to set the tone.
Let's see if they can do it again here. Johnson trying to keep pace with Melvin. Lexi Brown, that is her shot. She's a great three-point shooter. And what a headsy play by Mitchell there. Knew she couldn't get the rebound without getting popped, so she just knocked it to her teammate. Mitchell. Cunningham turning the corner and scooping it up and in and drawing a foul. Great play there. The handoff from Mitchell, and Cunningham does the rest.
At 6'1", Sophie Cunningham has been able to take advantage of her size with shots around the rim. And here just comes off of a little bump there by Kelsey Mitchell. She's got the advantage over Lexi Brown, and the help by Mackenzie Holmes does not distract her.
And they're going to say the foul going to Lexi Brown. And Cunningham completes the three-point play again. Fourth game of the season for Indy. Their one win came when Sophie Cunningham got into double figures in Los Angeles. She's got 10 now after that made free throw. And could that be the little extra that this Fever team needs to go along with their great backcourt of Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark?
Yeah, I like this roster a lot. I was telling someone earlier today, like just even the tweaks in the offseason with drafting Raven Johnson, getting Mo Billings, who I think is going to be a great fit. Maisha Hines-Allen already proving her value.
Van Sluten, nicely done for the Storm. Fake that three, just a subtle head fake, and then drove all the way to the cup. Cole can't get the trail triple to go. But yeah, which I know a lot of folks saying, look out for this Fever team. And Brown turned it over. So Fever basketball, 3:09 to go in the third. Again, despite all the injuries last year, lost Caitlin Clark, as we talked about already, lost Sophie Cunningham, Ari McDonald, on and on, the list went. But the Fever pushing the eventual champion Aces to the brink in the semifinals last year, pushed them all the way to the end of Game 5. And even without so many stars, almost made it to the WNBA finals. And then they've added this season.
Yeah, I was really impressed by the job that Stephanie White did. And I believe it was their first playoff series win since like 2015. That's a long time. So you can build on that now. But keep in mind, you do have several players coming in with limited minutes and coming off of injury. And so it could take a little while for things to really gel and look consistent on both ends. But they've got all the tools on this roster, no doubt.
Cunningham hits the first after she was fouled by Melbourne. Fever into the bonus as a result of that last foul. Largest lead of the night for Indiana, 69-52. Looking for their first home victory of the year. So, Lexi Brown with a three for Seattle.
As you mentioned, that is Lexi Brown's shot. She had a big game from behind the arc in their win over Connecticut, where she caught fire, and that's the only reason why they won that game.
She was 5 of 6 for 3 in that third quarter, and with that last made three, Lexi Brown now with 200 made threes in her WNBA career. Now Brown looking for more.
She scored 1,000 career points early in the season as well.
Just checking boxes left and right. Melbourne off the side of the backboard. Pace picking up here at the end of this third quarter. Ooh, Cunningham from the hash mark. Yes, ma'am! Sophie Cunningham saying, Caitlin Clark, anything you can do, I got you, teammates. Now, it has been a great evening for Cunningham, now with 15 points. And a great evening for her Fever. Melbourne, shorts, unable to answer, bounces out. And it's Indiana basketball. Let's take one more look at Sophie Cunningham as the player we're used to seeing hit from that distance checks back in.
Well, she had already decided she was going to take that shot.
Yep.
A little stutter step as if she was going to put the ball on the deck, froze the defense just enough to get that shot up.
Well, she had a block that seemed to even surprise herself in the first half. And now a hash mark triple. Gonna get whistled for the foul there. Not happy about that. Offensive foul on Cunningham. That's her first. 90 seconds to go, third quarter. Ball on Van Sluten. The spin, the step through. And the rookie, Van Sluten,
she's showing
us some stuff, isn't she, tonight?
She is. The footwork. You saw her defensively make a big play earlier on. Good activity.
Yeah. First couple of seasons for Grace Van Sluten at Oregon. Then spent her last 2 collegiate seasons at Michigan State before being chosen 39th overall in the 2026 draft. So WNBA League Pass gives you a courtside seat every week. Stream live games from across the league all season long. Scan that QR code right there to subscribe. It's only $39.99 for the season, y'all. Press play on the WNBA. Van Sluten pressing play for the Storm. Again, similar to what they showed us in the second quarter. Just refusing to go away, even without their starting center, Dom Malonga, who has been the centerpiece of the Storm team so far this season, out with a concussion. They're continuing to fight. Timpson on the turnaround, too strong. Dolson rebounds quickly out to Brown. Final 50 seconds of the third quarter. Cook, a step back three, off back iron. Bounces it into Hull, and Hull is going to have a three-point opportunity.
You already know the cut is coming. You cannot turn your head when Lexi Hull is in the vicinity. As Caitlin Clark drives hard to the right side here. Defense is already late. A step too slow on that cut, and Lexi Hull will burn you. We have seen her do that, what, 3 or 4 times now in this game?
Yeah, and what a great addition she's been to the starting lineup again. Started 30 of the 44 games she played last season. This is her first start of the season tonight. Steph White wanted to insert her defense in and said if she can do anything else, it'll be a cherry on top. She's got 9 points now to go along with her 4 assists and the great defense she's been playing all evening. Olsen defended by Hines Allen. Cook with 5. And she's fouled. Oh, disagreeing with that whistle. That's going to be the 4th on Lexi Hall. Yeah, if Hull can do that, if she can score, in addition to playing great defense along the backcourt of Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, as you mentioned, this Fever team is going to be a problem.
Well, think about the impact. She's only played 16 minutes.
Yep. Was a star at Stanford before being chosen 6th overall back in the 2022 draft by these Indiana Fever. Signed a 2-year extension in April, understandably so, because when you've got the offensive firepower of a Clark and a Mitchell, you want that 3rd player in the backcourt to be a defensive stopper like Hull. Final 5 seconds of the 3rd. Clark keeping Cook on her hip. Clark back to her right to beat the horn. And she will with a foul. 0.1 on the clock. Oh, that's frustrating for Cook.
Yeah, you almost had it. It would have been a tough shot for her to make that. You don't want to foul. Cook gets hit right there, but their arms were tied up before that even started. And contact by both players earlier on in that possession. You just got to know when to let the shot go and
make it as difficult as possible on the Stars, right? But try not to foul. So 2 more for Clark. And the Fever, a perfect 22 for 22 from the free throw line so far tonight. Now you are watching WNBA Game Time presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. 10 more minutes after this.
Caitlin Clark has 19 points and 9 assists so far in this game, and she has done a little bit of everything, including getting the ball at the floor to her teammates for easy scores. You find the cutting Mo Billings there for an easy deuce, pulling up from long range with that patent three-point shot. She's 2 for 4 from there, and then taking some contact of Indiana's 77 points so far.
Yeah, and I feel like that's worth mentioning, LaChina, because, you know, we all read the comments, right? We see that some folks have a problem with how much Caitlin turns the ball over, right? They're always looking for something. As the Storm and Stephanie Dolson start us off here in this fourth quarter. So I look things up, just comparing to the WNBA, leaders in assists. Nikola Jokic, about 10 assists a game, 4 turnovers a game. Kate Cunningham, who I know is playing a big game 7 tonight, about 9.5 assists per game, 4 turnovers a game. So calm down, everybody.
When you're handling the ball,
all the time,
you are going to have some turnovers. But the question for you is, you read the comments?
Just when they're about other people.
That's a dangerous place to be.
Why are people Caitlin's turn? Because she holds the basketball for the majority of the 40 minutes. Welcome to the sport of basketball. Okay, I'm off the soapbox now. I kicked it out. It's done.
Good luck in those comments.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for watching the WNBA. Kate Scott, LaChina Robinson, Caroline Pineda here as Dolson tried to scoop it past Hines Allen. Couldn't do so. So excited to have the WNBA back here on Peacock and NBC. Billings handing off to Clark, who's fouled. We are looking forward to seeing more of that combination, though. Monique Billings and Caitlin Clark, because they really connected. As you mentioned, you were down there with them in Puerto Rico in March for the FIBA World Cup qualifying. Another fantastic inbounds play. Clark to Cunningham for the deuce.
Is that 10?
10th assist. You got a double-double. Just three rebounds away from a triple-double tonight for Clark. Nice look down from Heidemann to Dolson.
Yes, I was down in Puerto Rico for that FIBA World qualifying game and for the games, and I could see instant chemistry between Mo Billings and Caitlin Clark, and of course, it's the announcer jinx.
It's the announcer jinx. As soon as we start talking about it. And Cook hits the 3.
And Zia Cook has stayed locked in. Picked up a couple fouls on Caitlin Clark, but she is still ready for the matchup defensively and ready to look for her shot on offense. She is just really locked in.
Yeah, 4th year for her out of South Carolina. Clark, jump stop, and the finish. 21, 10, and 7 tonight for Caitlin Clark. Decent night's work. Clark having a chuckle,
having a little moment, but the real battle is between Zia Cook and Caitlin Clark. They are going back and forth on both ends. Clark a little off balance on that, but still gets it to go on the fadeaway. And what I say about Caitlin Clark too is there's some ways that her offensive end of things that she reminds me so much of Diana Taurasi. One thing I used to say about Diana is she was the most physical offensive player that I could remember seeing. And
tell us more.
This is post players included, meaning she could take some contact,
Yeah.
she could clear some space if she needed to, but there was just that way about her game that reminds me a lot of Caitlin in that way, and that you usually think about physicality on the defensive end, but there's a such thing as an offensive player, a physical offensive player on the perimeter as well.
Mo Billings maybe trying to be a little bit too unselfish there, was trying to no-look a pass down to Hines Allen. Throws it out of bounds. 7.5 to go here tonight. 81-65 Indiana. Heidemann on the handoff, tried to finish on the reverse. Harris pushing for the Fever. Kelsey Mitchell. Oh, crashing. Who touched it last? It's going to be Seattle basketball. 17 tonight for Kelsey Mitchell. 8 of 17 for the floor. Team high plus 19 overall. Flau'jae Johnson. Sidestep triple looked good. Just rimmed out. And then Dolson saying, relax. I fouled her. Got my arm stuck in there. But that's one of the main reasons that Steph White was excited to get Mo Billings, who, again, to just put a bow on that story. Steph White was an assistant coach for the U.S. team down in Puerto Rico in March. Caitlin Clark, obviously, on that team as well. And Mo said she loved being coached by Coach White. She loved playing alongside Caitlin. And those were a couple of the big reasons she wanted to sign here in Indy.
Yep, and ta-da. They made it happen.
Ta-da.
No more Natasha Howard on this roster. Mo Billings fits in that gap very nicely. Two different players, but I like their chemistry.
Wilson with a steal for Seattle. Flau'jae Johnson with 11. Tough fadeaway. Rims out. And Steph White will call time. Well, the Fever 6:23 away from their first home win of the season. We'll be back after this.
Back in Indianapolis, well, Storm head coach Sonia Raman had kind of an unconventional journey to Seattle. She was a walk-on at Tufts University, and then after that went to law school at Boston College, then got into coaching part-time before becoming the head coach at MIT. And then went to the WNBA, where she was with the Grizzlies. You see her there. And then to the Liberty as an assistant coach with Sandy Brondello on that staff before arriving in Seattle. She told us that she's been taking more time than usual to reflect. She's always thinking of the lessons that she learned from different people in her journey to this job. Raman said she tries to be present where her feet are. And yesterday, that was when we were talking to her in the Fever's practice gym. She was looking around, just taking it all in.
Awesome stuff there, Caroline. Yeah, we're so excited to have her in the W because we both interacted with her when she was with the Grizzlies in the NBA.
What just a delightful person. Yeah. I mean, when you hear the words that are spoken about her as trailblazer,
Harris is able to beat the shot clock buzzer, LaChina.
Yeah. She's the first person of Indian descent to serve as head coach in the WNBA. You hear the word innovator, strategist. She's known for her analytics, and yet she is so personable and all about player relationships. She was so fun to talk to, just funny and witty. I really enjoyed Sonia Raman.
As Johnson is fouled by Hines Allen. That wasn't all. She also, I don't have one of these. It's a law degree from Boston College.
Oh,
I don't have a law degree from any college. What about?
Not even close. My parents thought I was going to Harvard, but they were way too ambitious. They thought I was going to be a lawyer out of Harvard, and that just was a lot.
Love listening to you to Massachusetts gals go back and forth yesterday about wanting to raise the profile of women's hoop back in Massachusetts.
Yeah, I am from Boston, Massachusetts. Family was from Roxbury, Dorchester, and we shared some commonalities there with different places we had been, but also a passion for grassroots girls basketball in that area with the time we both spent there.
Yeah, I love listening to you two chat about that yesterday. And the GM of the Storm, Talisa Rhea, said there was just immediate alignment with Sonia Raman, just a different perspective than we've had in Seattle. And we know they've been one of the teams to win multiple championships, so they have had some great perspectives before. But everybody who knows anything about the city of Seattle knows they're always looking for new. They're always looking for innovation.
Yeah, and I just think she's a great fit. If you look at her profile and have a conversation.
Oh, what a tap in by Simpson. Showing off the length on the offensive end.
Great anticipation.
Melbourne on the give and go with Dolson.
There's been nothing easy for Jade Melbourne this evening.
And really all season for folks who, maybe this is your first time seeing the Storm this year. Melbourne lost a tooth in the opener, dived in for a loose ball, then got her lip bloodied in the first win in Connecticut. As Timpson rolls in another. So she is one of those players in the neon green shoes tonight. That is going to give you a little bit of everything for Seattle. Ball popping for the Storm. Took off back for the Storm. Took off back iron, rebound to Harris. And just a little bit too far in front of Simpson. But players like Melbourne, players like Sonia Raman and the Storm are hoping to build around as they look towards their next championship.
Yes, along with Dom Malonga, which if there's someone in our audience who has not watched that young woman play, I would say the same about Alma Fong. I mean,
nice tie-up by Harris as Johnson drove that time. It will be Fever basketball.
Incredibly versatile players with size. I mean, superstars.
Yeah, they've got 3 6'4" players unavailable tonight due to Storm. And the Fever, as they should, taking advantage. Well, our game here in Indianapolis, the second half of what has been a fantastic day of basketball here on NBC and Peacock. This was our first game, Vegas and Atlanta trading blows late.
What an incredible game. It looked like Atlanta was dead in the water, but here comes Jordan, Canada, and company down to the wire. But it was Chelsea Gray with the game-winning shot and the game-winning defense for the Las Vegas Aces. And Atlanta was without the services of Ryan Howard, so they had so many younger players step up, like Medina Okad and Tahina Pow. I mean, it was really a team effort to even have an opportunity to win. At that point.
Well, Vegas, as I'm sure most of you know, the defending champions here in the WNBA have won 3 of the last 4 as Hines Allen spins her way down for 2. But one of our Hall of Famers, Sue Bird, going to be on postgame, said Atlanta's one of her dark horses this year because they have a whole lot of talent.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm giving to that dark horse title because they did have all their returners coming. They added Angel Reese.
Okay. Johnson can't get it to go.
They were a pretty high seed last year, had a great regular season, so I don't know if dark horses.
Hines Allen has it knocked out. Maybe, I don't want to be putting words in Sue's mouth. Maybe just a team that not enough folks are paying attention to.
Okay.
How about that?
I can see that.
Stay with us. We got the Hall of Famer Sue Bird, the Hall of Famer Cheryl Miller, and Carolyn Mano in our NBC studios for postgame tonight here on Peacock.
I'll be in studio with those guys tomorrow, and boy, having to live up to Carolyn and Maria as hosts.
You got this. You got this. You got this.
Say it prayer.
Heidemann does not got this. Dolson asking for the and one. She's not going to get it. Veterans on this young Seattle team. UConn star. You're 13 now in the league for Stephanie Dolson.
She's such a great anchor.
Yeah, she is.
For an organization that is trying to set the tone of culture. Very dependable, smart pro, well respected, and just knows the game.
Want to be that from way outside for 3.
I like that Heidemann has found her offensive aggressiveness today.
That's going to be a backcourt violation. Make sure Lexi Brown is okay. Hard collision there between Raven Johnson and Lexi Brown. Kind of an awkward collision too.
How is that not a foul?
I think that's what both teams are asking for. Instead, it's going to just be a backcourt violation on the
That
Fever.
should have been a foul on Lexi Brown.
Okay, well, I'm sure all of you were hearing thanks to our great microphones over at the scorers table. Steph White, very unhappy that there wasn't a foul call, but as you heard from the crew chief, it's not challengeable.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if it's because the ball was counted as backcourt prior to the foul, but doesn't it? Yeah,
you can't challenge that one.
It was definitely a lot of contact there by Lexi Brown.
Foul on the rookie Raven Johnson. Melbourne with 10 so far in the starting role tonight for the Storm. Make it 11. Well, let's take a look at the upcoming WNBA national schedule. Another packed week tomorrow here on Peacock. We got Washington at Dallas Wednesday on USA. Caitlin Clark and the Fever hosting Portland. Dallas at Chicago, and then Thursday on Prime. Valkyries at the Liberty. The Sparks down in Phoenix. For more on those games, please go to WNBA.com or visit the WNBA app. Ty Harris, the Indy native, and Johnson standing on the sideline when she caught it. So it's going to be Storm basketball. Quiet night so far for the rookie Raven Johnson, but Steph White and the Fever haven't needed her. And Heidemann with another long-distance three.
They're going to need that from her. Heidemann is very capable of that level of scoring when she is focused on that aspect of her game and is not just distributing the ball.
Now coming up on the WNBA Showtime show presented by Ford. Yeah, that's right. Club Dub. That's what we're calling it, Lieutenant. Club Dub on Peacock.
Look at that. How can I be a part of Club Dub? VIP.
So far, our terrific trio of Carolyn, Cheryl, and Sue going to be interviewing one of the players from our victorious team tonight here in Indianapolis. And we were thinking coming into this fourth quarter, it was going to be a member of the Fever. But Seattle, again, not going away. Storm on an 8-0 run here, making this a game.
Yeah, you have to admire the resilience of this team. They are definitely missing their superstar, the middle, and Dom Malonga, but the spirit of competitiveness has not gone away at all, no matter what kind of runs the Fever's gone.
Everybody's saying it's their basketball. Cunningham with a great night off the bench. All ready for the Fever. 17 points. Just one off her Fever best. See your 2 for Sophie here in Indiana. Shot clock at 7. Tori Walker Kimbrough. First shot of the night. Off iron and out. Heidemann looking for more. Off back iron. Timpson. And Ty Harris says, let's calm things down. We got this 12-point lead. $1:40 to go. Let's just run our offense. Timpson couldn't hang on to it on the cut. Harris lost her footing. Some space here for Johnson. And can't finish on the reverse, but Cunningham whistled for the foul.
And this is a 4-guard lineup on the floor with Seattle. Jade Melvin, Heidemann, Flau'jae, Lexi Brown, who we're glad is okay after that collision at half court, and then Stephanie Dolson, which means they can pick up some speed, good off the bounce, but they can also spread the floor. I mean, the three-point shooting of Lexi Brown and Jade Melvin, the percentage in which she's shooting it opens up some driving lanes.
Johnson misses the first. Well, another good night for that player, Caitlin Clark. 21 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds. Her night is done. So no triple-double tonight for Caitlin Clark, but the 12th 20 and 10 game of her career as far as points and assists. 20 and 10 game of her career as far as points and assists are concerned.
Been a balanced night for the Fever for the most part, where it feels like there have been contributions across the board. Clark leading in scoring, Kelsey Mitchell with 17, Cunningham with 17 off of the bench.
8 from Hines Allen, 9 from Lexi Hull.
Yeah.
6 for Timpson. Yeah, I mean, if the Fever can do that, they are going to be a tough out this season.
Timpson's going to be a really good player in this league for a long time. Does so many little things, and again, the wingspan.
Cunningham, the rebounds. Yeah, she's got that length. We've seen it on display on both ends of the floor already tonight. Ooh. Melvin collides with Timpson.
Oh no, I hope she is okay.
Second really tough collision in the last few minutes.
Make sure she's all right.
Let's take another look.
Oh,
you see the shoulder of Melbourne, the left shoulder, and even Jade is instantly regretful, saying, oh my goodness, colliding with the jaw, it looked like of Timpson. Michaela being helped to her feet. Yeah, I think that's what we call Georgia tough right there. Georgia native Michaela Timpson played her collegiate ball at Florida State. And even smiling after that collision. You love to see that. Okay, so Timpson is checking out. So Stephanie White will be able to choose any of the 4 players on the floor to take the free throws.
And there's just been one too many collisions here in the last few minutes for me. It's always scary. You saw the one at half court a little while ago, and you know it's part of the game, but it's tough to watch.
And now, 4th team foul. So Ty Harris will. Okay, we weren't sure if that was, because it definitely wasn't a shooting foul. So we'll be side out. Just the 4th team foul, not in the bonus yet. So side out Fever. 49.7 to play. All smiles by the Indiana starters over there on the bench as they look to pick up their first home win of the season. Harris. Cunningham blocks you in the corner. Flau'jae Johnson with the block. Seattle is going to run this one through the tape. Cook, step back 3, just a little bit short. Johnson trying to hang and just bank it off the backboard. Couldn't do so. Got a 4-second difference between shot and game here as Cunningham gets it across the timeline. Well, they're going to do it, LaChina. First home win of the season for the Indiana Fever, led by their phenomenal backcourt. 21 for Caitlin Clark, 17 for Kelsey Mitchell, 17 for Sophie Cunningham off the bench. And most importantly for the Fever, again, playing without Aaliyah Boston for the first time in her professional career. Able to bounce back from that disappointing Friday overtime loss here to the Washington Mystics. And now 3.9 away. In it comes. And Seattle will just let the out. So very similar to their first one of the season out in Los Angeles, where they held their defender opponent to 78 points. Same here. Final score tonight in Indy, 89-78. We'll be back with more after this.
Maisha, a really big role tonight. Next woman up. What did it feel like to get that first bucket and really control this game at the end tonight? Yeah, first regular season.
All smiles by Caitlin Clark, Lexi Holm, and the Fever as they pick up their first home win of the season. And a second win this season overall. And in both of those games, LaChina, they've held their opponent to 78 points.
Yeah, I mean, impressive defense compared to what we had seen in a couple of instances already this season from the Indiana Fever. But that's been the word from Stephanie White. Yeah. Like, she's never concerned about the offensive end. They do have some lulls that they feel like they can work on, but it's usually they need to get running out of their defense. And when their defense is good, that's when they're at their best.
Yeah, they came into this game averaging almost 98 points per game on the offensive end. Everybody knows the Fever can score. It's really going to come down to how does their defense play. Doesn't have to be the best in the W. Doesn't even have to be top 5. This has to be better, and it was better tonight. All right, so let's go over to Caroline. She's got Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin, your first home win of the season. What does it mean to get a win in front of these fans?
Well, probably took us a little longer than we wanted it to, but I thought we battled. Our defense still needs to improve, and I thought we could have closed out the game a little bit better. But, wins are really hard in this league, so you take them when you can get them. But I'm proud of our group, and, I think we have 2 more at home on this swing, so I need to win those as well.
A double-double for you tonight. How have you found your rhythm to start the season?
Yeah, I think just getting others involved, getting to the free throw line. If they're going to call it the way they're going to call it, those are free points. So getting to the line, being aggressive downhill, don't settle for threes, which I didn't do tonight. And, it definitely lets you get into rhythm when you're getting to the free throw line.
Defense was the focus for this team. You held the Storm to 78. What improvements did your team make tonight?
Yeah, we still really got to work on the late fouling. We're fouling every single time, late shot clock or late drive when they're going into their motion. They make a contested, hard rim 2 or contested 2 in the paint. We're going to live with that. So I think as a group, we can get better at that. A lot of fouling going on, and we got a lot better there in the second half is working as a unit. So, minute by minute, we'll get better.
What kind of spark did Sophie Cunningham provide in the second half?
Yeah, Soph was great. Obviously, her first time coming off the bench. I thought her mentality was amazing. She came in right away. I think she had an and one off the bat, and just proud of her. That's what you need to have off the bench is that spark, and that's what she can give us.
Caitlin, thanks. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Kate?
All right, Caroline. Yeah, Sophie was just that. 17 points in her 25 minutes off the bench. 17 for Kelsey Mitchell, 21, 10, and 7 for Caitlin Clark in the Fever's first home win of the year. For LaChina Robinson, Caroline Pineda, and our entire crew, I'm Kate Scott saying thanks so much for watching WNBA Game Time presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, and stay with us. After the break, we'll send you back to our studio where Carolyn Mano, Sue Bird, and Cheryl Miller are going to wrap up the night.